It is 7:41. We're gonna resume the meeting.
Mr. President,
Go ahead, Mr. Attorney.
I just had a brief conversation with the chief of staff, and we spoke about some of the inconsistencies in the document. He apologizes because he had to draft this very, very quickly, and perhaps some items that needed to be stricken through were not. So if I'm gonna take just 1 minute to kind of give you the elements of this agreement. Immediately, at least the document you have before you, and then you can basically hear from the district as to the project and the agreement itself. The chief of staff relayed to me that any reference to permit fees needs to be eliminated. Also, any reference to the entire annex area needs to be eliminated. That for consistency's sake, we're only talking about, number one, impact fees. We're talking about basically the area on Northwest 17th Street between 112th and 108th Avenue. And the last thing we will make consistent basically is on page 4 make the time frame consistent in section 4 as pointed out by Commissioner Suarez.
The starting of the collection of the fees,
Yes,
2 events.
yes. So we'll make that consistent in the document as well. So all of those, then you will have an amended document, in other words. So as it stands now, you have an agreement before you with the Beacon Trayport Community Development District for the construction, for the design, reconstruction, and/or construction of a roadway on 17th Street between 102nd Avenue and 108th. Essentially, the district will be providing, will be funding this by floating some bonds, and the city will reimburse in turn the district, as it collects all the impact fees in that area for the next 10 years. The impact area, again, being that portion of 17th Street between 102nd and 108th Avenue. So
108th and 112th.
108 and 112, my apologies.
Through the chair,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
dear Mr. Attorney, the impact fees collected in 10 years or until the $1,100,000 are fully
Correct.
paid.
This is for full reimbursement. Once if the reimbursement is made prior to that time frame, the city at that point would have met its obligation.
Guillermo, in relation to the starting the payments, it mentioned that is November 1st, 2015.
That time frame deals with when the city will begin collecting those fees. It's either that or once the bonds are issued, one of the two. The remittance of those funds to the district will occur, I believe, 10 days upon, I think.
After the completion of the project.
Right.
Okay, that's what I want to make clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Which will be further down the road.
Okay.
If I can, just two
Go
things.
ahead.
The reason why I remember this because we did a Northern Sweetwater District. I was on that board, and I learned that to do these bonds, and that's why we stopped doing the board because it was just too much money and too many taxes that we had to increase to
I
everybody in
remember.
that area to
With
float the
$43
bond.
million.
So the idea is, I wanted the 10 years better because it allows for the people to develop. But you're not going to be able to necessarily pay that off as quick as possible. And the idea, I think, would be to pay that off because it's impact that we only use for the roads. So with that being said, if we pay them back as fast as possible, I think that this promotes people wanting to do this in other areas. For example, we have some people that are trying to do something on the
Another
Circle
hotel.
and 108 that we don't have the money to do that. And that's why I want to make it part of the whole annexation area. In other words, the impact fees that are going to be, I'm going to be one of the ones paying it in my stuff. When we pay for the roads 2 blocks away, but it's still in the annexed area, that will go to pay for this. It's not just going to be that one street because it might take 4 years for that to get developed.
Or even more.
So that we don't pay them back, they don't have an initiative to go ahead and start when they do the next project one block away to fix that street, because they want the streets fixed. You know what I mean? So I think we should put in annexed area instead of just from,
Within
well,
the
there's
entire-
two things, there's two problems with
Within
that.
the entire district, you mean?
Uh,
The DRI district?
No.
Um,
The
The
annexed
whole
area.
annex area.
But, one more thing, and then you guys, I think that the DRI has from 110 to 112, or about half of that, from like 111 to 112, is their area. I don't think we should pay for that. So in other words, if it's $1.1 million, and let's say it's 10% of the area is not theirs, I mean, is theirs, then we shouldn't pay for that 10%. You know what I mean? And then from 111th or whatever that street is to 108, then we pay for that portion of it. But we pay it with all the funds from the annexed area completely.
Mr. President?
That was precisely what I was stating at the beginning, that it'll be better for the city be able to collect impact fees from the whole annex area since 2010, or the entire area, than not just to be limited to such a small portion that might take a long time. It's unpredictable compared to the portion that covers the entire
Through the chair.
annex area. Commissioner?
I have slight problem with including the whole and section area impact fees. That is revenue that we're gonna lose for the city of Sweetwater.
No, not at
No,
all.
because it's only
No.
impact fees. Like when we talked
It's
about the
only
budget,
impact fees.
we get 5% for administrative costs, I think it is. And the rest has to be used for roads.
Of the impact fees.
Yes.
And it has to be used in that area.
So we only keep 5% of that for
Administrative,
the
something
city
administrative.
Administrative
for
expenditures.
whatever.
Right, and then the other, let's say it's, 950,000
Yeah.
that we're gonna get, has
for
to be used on the roads.
On
But
the
usually
road,
we don't have enough to do a
anyway.
road.
Then I retract from what I
If-
was gonna say. What I was gonna say, I retract that. I
Okay.
was based in the money that we need
No,
right now.
no.
We are selling
We can only
property,
use
we
it
need
for,
money,
right,
you know?
right.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Just a couple of observations as it relates to increasing the area. Yes, you are correct. It would by accelerating the payment, it will free up the district to perhaps start funding other projects. That is 100% the case. That's not in the agreement right now. The only caveat that I want to mention to you is, and the district manager is here now. I'll defer to him. I don't know what the district at this point has agreed to or voted on, so that you don't vote on something that is incongruent with what the district.
Okay.
Has
Yeah,
provided.
you go speak first before I say.
Go ahead, sir.
You might say it.
State your name and address for the records, please.
Sure. My name is Luis Hernandez. I live in 2730 Oakbrook Lane, Weston, Florida. I'm the district manager for Beacon Trade Port. The part that I want to express to the commissioner is what was the intent when the district first started discussing this improvement. The part that it needs to be relied and be put into perspective is that when the Beacon Trade Port was established, we were the ones who funded it, the exit to the 12th Street. So we have been having the vision that was done in 1998 to bring up all what you get to be seen today. And it's the part that it has been bringing alive all that area. The intent of what we're presenting to the commissioners and to the city tonight is to improve Northwest 17th Street. As part of the negotiation that we're having with the city, yes, everything has been just limited to be just the Northwest 17th Street. But the intent since the beginning from the board is to use those funds to be able to go ahead and continue giving improvements around those areas. For instance, we have already been discussing about Northwest 14th Street, that you have where the railroad train goes, there is a swell that it goes up and down, and vehicles are just jumping up and down, and it becomes a hazard condition. We have already even quantified how much it will cost us to fix it. So if we were to be receiving those funds back, the intent is to continue using it like a revolver effect that is going to be providing benefit to all that area. Also 110th, you have an area that the road is so low that when it rains, it's being flooded. So all those are the kind of improvements that the CDD wants to offer, but unfortunately, we have also limited funding, and what we're trying to use is with these funds that we're able to obtain right now, if everything gets to be set up, use it in other projects around all that area. The part that is being presented, as the attorney was indicating, has been limited just exclusively to Northwest 17th Street. But the further that the city get to be expanding, the option for us to be able to help you to implement and improve all that neighborhood.
Absolutely.
The part that we're seeing is we're trying to be the good neighbor, but we are strong believers that if we provide the facilities, better people will be coming. And that's what we have just provided.
Yes.
That's
Thank
basically
you.
the intent. You were going to say?
Yeah, the only thing I want to add is I think the intent also, yeah, it is Northwest 17th Street, but what it is if you limit it just to Northwest 17th Street impact fees and they don't comply within the 10 years, then we're not obligated after the 10 years to give more than that area's impact fee. You understand? So if we only get 300,000 or 200,000 of impact fees for that street, then that's it. You know, that's all they get. Not if we give them the whole annexation area, which could be $1 million or $1 million or whatever plus, then, you know, we have
We
to,
are subject to
yeah.
pay.
So,
No,
And that's
Well-
something that I want to indicate as well. At this point, the CDD is putting the beat that if we need to absorb the entire cost and no one in those 10 years is going to be paying any impact fees, the city owns nothing. We will be responsible
Okay.
for it.
why would, you know,
So
the-
it's better not to include the entire annex area because those monies can go to other improvements as well. Yes.
once again, it's up to the city what you want to do. The more that you get to limit, the less that you can.
No,
we
but
can
it's
do.
in the best interest of the city, you know.
But we
No-
would want them to get paid, is the idea.
Well, that's what I want, but they are not interested on being paid if we don't collect
No,
the
the part
funds.
that I need to correct my statement is
Okay.
we don't want to get paid in the sense that if we get to be receiving funds, the intent is to reuse it. In the sense that right now the board has agreed that they're willing to go ahead and put their mouth 110,000, 1,000,000.1 that we need to be paying for the road, and if we get to be receiving anything back of it, the intent is to use it to implement all the other annex areas.
Absolutely.
They're gonna be getting it back
Oh, yeah.
in 3 or 4 years, hopefully.
I
If we
think
use the
so.
whole annexed area. If we don't, then they're gonna wait 10 years, not get any money, and they won't fund anything else. And that's make everybody happy, you know?
It is better, it is better.
Not only that, further than, if you get to be having a finalized road, the likelihood for a better type of construction to be made is higher.
And to attract
Attract
other
that
investors.
type of
Yes,
of people.
absolutely.
And it's going to be making. I was driving when I have to cut to that area, and you have a hotel right now in 107 that is the end road. When you look at it, that part, if I'm the one coming to the city, I don't
Yes.
want even to try to walk in that area. On the contrary, what we have going to be presenting is a road that it will be having lighting, will be inviting people to come, and therefore all those unimplemented, undeveloped land will have a likelihood to have a better improvements in all that area. And that's what we're trying to bring to
For
bring to all
sure,
that
for
package.
sure. Okay, so you don't mind if we include the entire
I think
annex
that it would be
area?
much better for the district. It will give us the
And for
option
the
to
city.
assist the better, help the city much better.
Okay, but I also believe that they should, for that one block, or it's like half a block, but I don't know how much money it is, it's some money. That, you know, that's part of the district already, and I think that it's already being covered by the impact fees that are being billed by the hotel and
No,
by,
the portion where the hotel, the portion where the existing hotel that Mr. Prakash is building, that one is within the CDD. It's right up, that's where the CDD ends.
oh, so the 1.1 million goes from there to.
Goes from
108.
there going towards 107. So the
Okay.
part that we're doing is completely outside our boundaries.
And-
Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
And if I may, just to give the commission some flexibility, you can always adopt the agreement as it's proposed. And just like any other agreement, you can always have an addendum in the future where if you feel that at that point you want to accelerate payments or not, you could do that. In other words, you don't have to do it at this moment. You can do it later in
later
the
moment.
future with the agreement of the CDD. So as of now, it appears that both the administration and the CDD have agreed to just limit it to that area. And to that extent, should the commission can go ahead and change that. But you can always, if you don't do it now, I just want to say that you can always do it later, given that the CDD is in agreement with having limited to just that area.
Oh, so you're saying everybody's content with it being just that one block area?
No. The original statement from the CDD, the original draft that it came from the CDD, was asking for the entire annexed area.
Okay.
As part of the discussion that we have been having with the mayor and with the chief of the staff, what it has been come is to an agreement that they want to limit it exclusively to the Northwest 17th Street. The part that it has been highlighted and raised by the CDD is that the more that they get to delimit the source of funds, the less likely that the city is going to be able to help with any other street. Because funding is going to be taking longer, and therefore,
And more
when it gets to
limited.
Yeah,
be
yeah.
coming, it's going to be nothing.
No, I'd rather do the whole annexed area.
The longer that it takes, the more difficult that it will be for the CDD to assist, is the only part that I can tell.
Mr. Attorney?
Yes. I believe that you have a set date of October 22nd to go.
Yeah,
ahead
there
and
were
have
time
We are going to
constricted.
be issuing the bonds for the garage on the 22nd, and on the same day, we're going to be having a meeting to discuss whether the board is going to be moving forward with this issuance or not.
Yes, and the thing that I want to, from the legal wrangling, and the procedural, the procedural posture of this particular item, I want to go ahead and tell the commission that if we don't have an effective resolution, a signed resolution by the 22nd, then I guess you won't be able to float your bonds.
That's the correct statement.
That's why I was cautioning the board to perhaps, to give you that flexibility. You can take this, and this
can always-
interlocal agreement can always be amended. Because remember, this is also subject to veto. And at that point, then, you could
It's
run
gonna
it-
delay the
you
process.
could not only delay the process, you probably eliminate the process, because of the October 22nd deadline.
Through the chair,
Go ahead, Commissioner Suarez.
may I say my 2 cents?
Go ahead.
The way the contract is today, and I believe it was accepted by the CDD, is 3 years. It's only, I'm sorry, it's only the 17th Street,
For 10 years.
not for 10 years.
For 10 years.
Correct. If we approve tonight the way it is, and if we need to amend it later to expand it to the entire annexed section area, I think that amendment will be very welcome by the CDD.
That's correct.
Okay.
But to do the reverse, approving the entire area today, and then trying to amend later to reduce it to the 17th Street,
Bad news.
is not going to appeal to the CDD. So.
Okay, that makes sense.
In order not to rush the issue, we may, in my opinion, approve it on the 17th Street, and then we can amend later, and the CDD will be more than happy to hear that.
I think that in the senses of the timing, you're absolutely right. If we try to change it tonight, first of all, we don't have a set document to be discussing. And the second part, an amendment is always an option. You're absolutely right.
All right. Do I have
Okay.
a motion?
Second.
Okay, but
As
Okay, we
amended.
have to make clear.
As amended.
Yes, amended.
As amended, right. So, you wanna make the motion, Commissioner? Or I made the motion to approve it as amended?
no permit
and
fees?
Didn't Commissioner Moroner do that, or?
Eliminating the permit fees and just base the repayment of this bond on the impact fees.
The amendments are as follow: to eliminate all reference to permit fees, and eliminate any reference to the annex area on section 4. Make the the timeline's consistent in section 4. And I believe that will be it for the amendments.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Suarez. All in favor say aye. Aye.
One quick question, if I can.
Go ahead, Commissioner. Okay, hold on, Commissioner. Item passed unanimously, if you don't mind.
Okay, no, it's fine. Does the property, it has to do with this, so that's why I'm bringing it up, even though it's not on the agenda, but it's with this. The property that we're selling that is now, the impact fees from whoever develops that.
Yes, it is right there.
That goes into that, but if it's already built, they still get calculated impact fees and they gotta pay that. They're not gonna get away with not paying.
No, they have to.
There's nothing in that particular, no, those particular parcels. There's nothing. It's vacant land.
Right.
So I seriously doubt there'll be any development between now and the time that
Well, my
That would be
thinking is the
incorrect.
value is gonna be more of that property.
once the road is built, more than
The
likely.
boat's gonna be built by the time that the person starts developing it. So when we sell it, it's gonna be worth more, is what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Knowing that they're gonna have it built already. They don't have to pay for all that, okay.
I'm not an expert on the issue. The part that I've been told is that even by letting the appraisal know that there is going to be a road,
Yes.
a higher price in per acre will be made just of the contract that you have just approved.
Yes.
So if that were to be moving forward on the CDE
Right.
and all the side,
Right.
that whatever appraisal you're going to be getting will be much better by the agreement. that you-
Because the idea that I'm thinking is, let's say the impact fee for that area of that land is $50,000 in roadway. It's gonna cost a lot more than $50,000 to develop that little parcel's roadway because of the sewer, the other stuff that's going on under.
Correct.
So it's gonna be worth a lot more, not just the $50,000. Okay.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Okay, well, any other comments, commissioners? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Moved by Commissioner Maronio, second by Commissioner Duaz. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 8:03 p.m. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you very much.